Crime Cities is something of an obscure title. While it certainly made an impression on those who played it back in 2000, it didn't become a mainstay name in the open world or 6-degree shooter genres. Though plenty of small issues prevent the game from being great, all things considered, Crime Cities has aged quite well. Once you pick up on the controls and figure out the flow of the game, you'll find it's not so different from today's open-world action games. While that may not sound like much of a compliment considering it came out nearly 2 decades ago, it's pretty damn impressive. The Pandemia system is a series of penal colonies. The cities scattered throughout its planets operate in a near-lawless state, with most of the inhabitants being convicted of or involved in some sort of criminal activity. That's where Garm Tiger comes in. Undercover, Tiger's job is to work his way through the underworld, making contacts and gathering intel. Dropped into Pandemia with a fake ID, fake story, and fully upgradable hover car, Tiger's life of crime begins. While the opening cinematic is reminiscent of spaceflight games a la Wing Commander, the actual game takes place entirely within your hover car in primarily urban environments. The space colony story is somewhat superficial, and the game could have easily been grounded in straight Cyberpunk. In-game, the story unfolds via email messages readable while driving your car. Cruising around the city, lost in the flow of traffic, or parked in a dark alleyway, players are left to accept or decline these new opportunities as they arrive. A scrolling newsfeed across the top of the screen further immerses you into city life, keeping you up to date with the broader effects of your actions and the city's main players. The writing is mostly gangster cliché, but it works well, and you can tell the developers went about making the game in a kind of tongue-in-cheek way. Crime Cities easily maintains a solid 60 FPS even with all the moving parts on screen. There is a fair bit of fog, but this helps with the dim cyberpunk atmosphere and isn't so thick that it's distracting. The enemy count can also get quite high, again impressive considering the game's scale and NPC count at any given time. One complaint that could be lodged is the field of view, which in this GOG port overextends past the screen, making your radar somewhat useless and removing your armor bar. This can still be checked via the in-game message window, but it's not ideal when in the middle of a firefight. Crime Cities may be worth owning for the soundtrack alone. It's a short score, but each track is somehow able to perfectly capture both the action and atmosphere of the dim sci-fi universe presented. It's the type of music that makes cruising around with no particular destination in mind so fun. It's easy and fun to spend a good chunk of your time in Crime Cities just listening to the music, enjoying the open world. Crime Cities begins with little direction, though it's not hard to get going. Opening the in-game log, Tiger can check his email, undertake missions, or purchase new equipment. Mission difficulty is graded by cash reward. You can abandon a mission once started, though with the ability to save at any point, it's often better just to try your luck and reload if overwhelmed. The mission variety is one of the game's greatest strengths, switching between defense, escort, item delivery, racing, and more. Cash earned can be used to buy new weapons or armor upgrades or armor and ammo refills. These purchases can be made while driving, though you'll need to find a garage in order to have them installed. Unfortunately, it's very easy to get on the wrong side of what little law there is and become mercilessly hunted by the cops. Misfires into traffic can earn you a bounty and a headache, leaving you with the choice of paying for a new ID to lose the heat, or constantly risk shootouts, wasting away precious armor points. The money you earn seems to barely cover the bill for repairs and ammo, leaving you broke more often than not. Crime City's steep difficulty helps its immersion, but it's also quite frustrating. Though law enforcement adds to the game in a good way, it would have been nice to have its intensity turned down a notch, allowing players to drive about the future city environments in peace from time to time. In a way, it's nice Crime Cities separates itself from the genre, cars controlling like, well, cars and not spacecraft. However, exchanging fire also feels less exciting because of it. It's still a fun shooter, just don't expect the hectic or engaging action of Descent or Forsaken. Crime City's difficulty isn't ideal, and it does negatively affect the game. However, the stellar art direction, open design, and varied missions make the game constantly entertaining and incredibly addicting. Crime Cities is approachable for both modern and retro gamers, and with the good outweighing the bad, there's no reason Cyberpunk fans shouldn't check it out.